before my lovely cast introduces themselves, got some thank yous and shout outs to some wonderful sponsors as well as some wonderful individuals. So first off, thank you once again to the rest of the Initiative Order creative team, Danny, April, Brianna, for making this show happen. And thank you, Danny, for running tech for us today because I am not at all tech savvy. And of course, I want to say thank you to Free League, the creators of this game have been super kind in giving us permission to use all the materials. They've provided us with all the digital artwork to use and the intros and all the promos that you've seen. So thank you so much, Free League. Next up, onto our wonderful sponsors of the channel, starting off with Session Zero Clothing. Session Zero, they create some beautiful TTRPG inspired streetwear. If you use code ORDER at checkout, you'll get 15% off your purchase through them. Next up, we have our wonderful partnership with Norse Foundry. They create some really beautiful gemstone, metal dice, different TTRPG accessories. Use code TIO, followed by the number 15 at checkout. You'll get 15% off your order through them as well. And of course, we have the magnificent master craftsman himself, Mr. GotDM, Ray, the game master of Evermore Tales. He is such a great person, and he has created this really cool Dice Vault Dice Tower system through his company Roaming Player Gear. So if you use code Carnaby20 at checkout through their website, you'll get 20% off that Dice Tower system. And of course, a massive thank you to Mithril Armory, who've been providing giveaways for us to do every stream. So the 1020s will be giving away a set of those. So keep an eye out at the break for the code word there, and you can be entered in for a chance to win those. And finally, I do want to mention we do have a coffee set up for this wonderful cast now. So if you have a few extra bucks and want to tip these lovely players, we'll have a link for that down in the chat as well. All money donated through that goes directly to the players. The Initiative Order team, we don't take any of that. That is just for this wonderful cast who are entertaining us today. And one more thing I do want to mention, we are ambassadors for Jaspers Game Day. They are a wonderful TTRPG community that is raising funds for suicide awareness and suicide prevention. So please check them out, donate, support them if you can. It's a wonderful, wonderful cause. And I think that's all I've got for now. So I'm going to throw it over to these wonderful folks here, starting off with Agithe. Coral, where can people find you? What are you playing today? Who are you playing?
Hello, friends. My name is Coral Reefer. You can find me on the Twitches over at twitch.tv/queeradventuretime. You can also see me in the chat because I cannot shut up with my side comments. Hell yeah. Let's see. I'm a variety just chatting streamer who has been incredibly obsessed with Skyrim as of the last week. And put so many hours into that lately, and we're gonna do so many more in the future. But yeah, wholesome vibes, unwholesome conversations. Come on in, talk about things that you don't feel comfortable talking about, and we'll try and help you feel comfortable talking about them.
Perfect. All right, next we will move on to Keith.
Hi, everybody. Thanks again for coming in to our second session. You can find me on IG. I am not Kevin Bacon. On here, Alohoy808. And of course, because nothing matches on Twitter, I think it's all that D&D. Yeah, I stream primarily on TIO. They're charity streams. I hope you folks catch them. A lot of fun. And I also have partnered with GotDM, Ray, for Evermore Tales, which is next Sunday, which I produce along with him.
Perfect. Next up, Christine, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christine. You can find me here on Twitch and on Instagram as Slumberjane. Not doing too much right now, mostly just excited to do this, but once we get up gearing, we're usually just playing video games and hanging out and chatting and doing also wholesome vibes, as most of the people here are super wholesome. But yeah, just really excited to be here, excited to play Laerke, the Wrathguard warrior of the group. So thanks for coming by, guys.
Perfect. Moving right along to Leroy, please.
Hey everyone, I am Lee Royal. I am playing Nrobso today, and on social media I can be found as Royalty No Y, and that's across the board everywhere. I'm an actor, dancer, stuntman, entertainer, cosplayer. I wear a lot of hats, and if you find me on Twitch, I usually trying to power through Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I just want to get through the game.
Perfect. And of course, Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. On Instagram and other platforms, my name is Tombs and Tomes. Today I am playing Kinlegelana, a fun changeling character who is definitely never going to get into any trouble for being a witch. Absolutely not. As Tombs and Tomes on Instagram, I love all things literature and tabletop role-playing, so feel free to make friends with me at any time, especially if you like puns.
Oh God, all the puns, so good. Excellent. All right. And if our mighty tech god would be so kind as to roll that beautiful intro for us, we'll see you all in a minute. And welcome back, everybody. So, before we dive in and continue on with the story, would any of you be so kind as to remind us all what happened last session?
All right. So, last time on Symbaroum, our party, after accepting a quest from a man named Master Agithe, ended up in the interesting, very dark, and scandalous city of Thistlehold. Our introduction to it was not as promising as we watched someone run in the streets trying to get away from a bunch of guards, them screaming she was a heretic and her just trying to get away. And our barbarian helped make that possible for her, potentially almost getting us killed, but also making it possible for her. And then we continued on our quest, and we ended up going to try and find someone who could give us more information about the happenings, only to learn that that person had been mysteriously murdered, very conveniently. And after investigating more into that, we learned that there is something going on with a bunch of random killings in the town. We also learned through finding a letter at the scene of the crime that something has gone wrong with an expedition involving the King's Skull, and anyone who is touching the King's Skull seems to be having some corruption issues. So now we are on a journey to figure out what's going on with that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we dive back in. The five of you currently at Agithe's wagon outside of the academy. Kovaan and Agithe, you had both just finished up working hard on cleaning up this bloodied letter. After reading it, what is it that the group would like to do at this time?
Well, didn't we agree to go to Mayor Night Pitches? Isn't the letter addressed to him? Kovaan?
Yes, it seems it is. He may have answers we need. Aggie, well done. Your skills are very proficient. I am very impressed. I can learn much from you, I think.
A slight smile just spreads across her lips, and she just gives a little chuckle and a polite nod, but doesn't say anything.
All right. So the five of you making your way over towards Mayor Night Pitch's house, yes? Excellent, excellent. All right. So you all continue making your way, and it's not too difficult for you all to figure out. You pass kind of right by the when you first entered into Thistlehold. One of the first things you saw was kind of the town guard encampment, and you would know that the mayor's house is essentially right next to that encampment. So it takes you about a good 10-15 minutes or so before you make your way over, and you approach this large wooden fenced off area, and you see a pathway that's probably a good 15 or so feet moving into the area, and at the end of that pathway is just this large wooden mansion standing there. Standing just outside the fence line, you see a couple of guards standing there. What would you like to do?
Well, Kovaan and I are taking up the rear because Kovaan has the slow feet, and I'm arm in arm.
I'm not trying to hide, but I'm definitely not trying to stick out either. I got my kind of cloak a little higher, just try to be as discreet as possible without looking obvious.
Agithe is totally in the either the driver's or the passenger's seat of the wagon, depending on where Laerke is.
Yeah, I would generally say that Laerke's probably skulking to the sides of probably next to the moose, right? Next to the moose with the wagon in the front. I mean, not exactly the best face to go in most places first, but effective, I suppose.
And Nrobso is sitting right in the middle of the moose's antlers, just sitting up there, hanging on, just rocking.
I need artwork of this now. Okay, so the wagon, you guys make your way up, approaching this large fenced off area. How close are you getting with the wagon?
Laerke, how close are we getting? Oh. Aggie?
Yeah. Aggie will at the fence line of the wagon, she'll pat Laerke and signal to stop.
Yeah, and I'll halt the beast.
Okay.
And yeah, Aggie will stand up and say, well, I do believe one of us should go introduce ourselves before we just pop in with the whole cart.
Shall I do it since I look like them?
That would be a good idea. I'm happy to go with you.
Why, of course. It would be an honor to escort you to the gate.
Wonderful. Let us go.
Excellent.
And she just looks back at the rest of the group and gives you that look that she's given you many times, which you know means watch my shit.
I think Laerke would turn to Nrobso and ask him if he'd like to go or stay, because one of us should go.
Nrobso will stay with the moose. Do we have a name for the moose? Aggie, what is the name of moose?
Aggie is like, I try not to get too attached, so name is open for
Zoom. Zoom. Zoom.
Zoom the moose it is.
Zoom. I stay with Zoom.
That's very.
Uh,
Aggie
so
just starts nodding and muttering.
I'll walk behind the ladies.
All right. Kovaan staying in the wagon.
This time I will go with Kin.
Okay. So Nrobso staying with the moose in the wagon. Excellent.
It's in excellent hands.
So the four of you approach, and as you approach, you see these two, both human or Ambrian men standing on either side of this gate that's currently shut. And looking at them, they're armed very similarly to what you saw the Black Cloaks wearing earlier. They each have like a large wooden shield on their back, long swords at their sides. But what you notice is their cloaks aren't that deep pitch black. They're more of a like a burgundy color. They appear to be wearing just some simple brown leathers. And one thing that you do notice kind of holding their cloaks on is like what appears to be like a copper brooch with what appears to be like a full moon symbol on it. And as you approach, they just kind of look in your direction, just eyeballing you.
Well met. Hello. May we have an audience with Master Knight Pitch, please?
Aggie is playing up the old. Like, she rolled okay on her morning check today. She is pretending that she did not.
Look here, one does not simply walk up to Marinite Pitch's home and ask for an audience.
Very well. Then what must one do to earn such an audience?
What is your business with the mayor?
Well, I am afraid this may be bad tidings, but we happened to discover a little bit about his written for the name.
When we initially
Master Vernam.
When we initially walked into the city, we arrived intending to help, and we heard that there was some immediate help to be had. And so we intended to come here first to speak with the mayor, as we are a capable party. And we hear that you have been having some troubles, but then we heard about the troubles and kind of just went there first. So we were hoping to come in and give a report.
Yes, we are coming from Master Vernam's.
I'm sorry, a feeble old woman, you call yourself part of a capable party. No offense, madam, but you look like you can barely hold yourself up. I'm assuming these are your grandchildren, maybe?
No. Oh, I do understand how you can think that, but do trust that I am. I mean, you are not incorrect. I do try to stay out of the fighting part, but that doesn't mean I do not have my usefulness within a group.
Well,
I believe though while I understand what you're suggesting, your master is a very, very capable man, and I'm sure that knowledge of the goings about in his town are of the utmost sensitivity and importance to him. We've spoke to Esbetha from Master Vernon's, and we have not only intel, but we could potentially provide aid and help. I know that maybe we don't look like much, but don't you think your master would at least want to know what's going on?
Do you have any physical proof of these claims? I mean, anybody could simply walk up here and say, hey, we need an audience with Mayor Nightpitch. We've got some information regarding some happening. It's happened multiple times. The mayor's a
Aggie
very
pulls
man.
out her notepad immediately. As soon as you say evidence, notepad is out, and she's going through her coroner's notes out loud. She's like, well, let me see. Upon my initial inspection, the body had no skin. It was only muscle. A hand was missing, but the hand was intact, but missing 2 fingers, one on the left side and one on the right side in a symmetrical pattern, which seems to me to notate some form of an intent. And the rest of the body, all of the organs intact, except for the adrenal, thyroid, and pineal glands.
Give me a persuasion roll if you would.
Nice. That is that just barely makes it. It's a 9 out of 10.
All right, still a success. All right. He kind of looks towards his partner standing there.
And she just gives a shit-eating grin.
Muttering under their breath. And you can still kind of make out what they're saying. It's, I mean, with all the murders going on, they're the only ones that, I mean, this kind of shit would be hard to make up on the spot, don't you think? You know, just kind of, oh, I guess it's worth looking at.
I have my notes.
Fine. Follow us. Make one wrong move, though.
I mean, we don't intend to, but everybody's definition of wrong is different. So I've been lots of places. That's all I'm saying. But we have a cart. Can we bring it in and just park it?
Give me another persuasion roll.
That one's pushing it.
Something
That's
tells
an
me
11 out of 10.
your cart will be just fine where it's at. I'm sorry. Who was that individual sitting on top of your moose? He's not going to cause any trouble, is he?
Absolutely not. No.
Tell you what, why don't you wait outside the gate here and I'll escort them in. And so you see one of the guards just kind of reposition himself back outside, and you can all see he's just staring at Nrobso on top of this moose at this time. But the gates open up, and the one guard gestures you all to follow him.
I don't know that I would be comfortable with leaving just Nrobso on the wagon. I think that Laerke would probably stay back as well.
Okay. You may certainly stay back. And are you going to stay just outside the gate, or are you going to make your way back over to the wagon?
No, I think that I'll go back to the wagon. But definitely keep an eye on the gate.
For sure. No worries. So you make your way back. Agithe, Kovaan, and Kinlegelana making your way up towards this large wooden mansion, and You see it almost has kind of this large wraparound deck that goes all the way around the house, the front of it being covered up. And as you approach the door, the guard just turns to you and says, just wait here on the porch. I'll be back with the mayor shortly.
Thank you, sir.
He opens up the double doors into the home and immediately shuts them behind him.
I'm gonna
Takes a
whisper to
solid-
Kin.
Sure, absolutely.
They're a jumpy sort here. I think there is
Indeed.
much hidden. As much as I hate the city,
I agree.
we may learn things that could solve your problem.
Perhaps so, perhaps so. We'll have to keep our eyes and ears open for any details.
So as you're all waiting out here, that conversation happening in Laerke and Nrobso, anything the two of you would like to do back at the wagon at this time?
What all can I see from my vantage of the wagon? So we have like the gate in front of us, and then is it just like town and streets behind us? Or are we like on a hill?
No, so you guys are currently positioned kind of at the west side of the city. So where you're at, everything's kind of on the same level. It's not really much of a hilly area that you're in currently. So where you're currently standing, the way you're facing towards the northern part of the city, the way the cart's positioned, and beyond that north side, you would know is the Davokar forest. So looking down that way, you see various buildings, you see crowds of individuals walking, and on the horizon, you can see the tops of the canvas of the Davokar poking out above. Immediately to the south side, almost neighboring Night Pitch's home, is another little fenced off area that you can see as a bunch of different tents set up that you would know is where the city guard stays. And then off to the western side, that's just where kind of you would enter into the main parts of the town.
Okay. I think that she's probably just, doing her little stalk around the pacing to pass the time around the wagon, just kind of
Okay.
looking at the environment and making note of all of the ways out.
Fair enough.
Laerke, you're pacing. You draw much attention to Nrobso and Laerke.
I suppose you're right. And she'll stop next to on one of the sides of the moose.
You seem nervous, Laerke.
Oh, we don't know anyone here, and we're already wrapped up in a murder, so...
Nrobso heard tales of Goblin Chief living in this particular house. Nrobso has never met said Goblin Chief. But Nrobso knows he is one that likes to living the life of the servant.
Do you think you would be able to get some aid from him?
He's quite loyal to this Mayor Nightpitch. Perhaps by talking to him, maybe, if he's here, more information can be received.
Yes, and you do have the ring. Maybe he recognizes it.
Should I look for maybe the goblin entrance?
Maybe you should.
But Nrobso doesn't want to leave Laerke with Tsum Tsum by herself.
Oh, I'll be alright. You're gonna be in and out, I'm sure.
And I can I look around to see if I see any goblin areas?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a vigilance check if you would.
16 out of 12.
Looking around, I mean, you see crowds of individuals, you see buildings, looking at Night Pitch's fence surrounding his home. You're not seeing much in the way of like an area where you could dig through. You don't see really any loose planks or anything. Looks like this current area is sealed up pretty tight.
This fortress is well fortified. Would it be too late to join the others? Or does Agithe need us to protect Tsum Tsum?
Well, certainly I can stay with the wagon. I shouldn't have any problem protecting it on my own. I don't know if you can convince the guard to let you in at this point.
Guards and goblins don't mix. I'll stay.
Can I see if I see any trees that might make an easy entry point for a particularly sneaky individual?
Sure. Give me a vigilance check if you would.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay. So looking through this area, you do see some trees that are fairly close to the fence line. A couple of them, the tops of them just barely meet the fence line. They appear to be some younger trees. Unfortunately, you're not seeing much in the way of full-grown trees that you could easily scale and jump.
Yes, I suppose it would probably be a better idea to wait until they rejoin us and see if we can gain entry. It's not really important right now anyways. So
The Nrobso shall take rest upon Tsum Tsum's back. And I like plop down and just kick my feet up and just rest.
And
All right.
I think Laerke will do one more loop and then sit on the back of the wagon and, I don't know, just like fiddle with random things off of the back of the wagon, maybe like dust and rocks.
Excellent. All right. Back over at the front porch, a few minutes go by before the doors swing open. And you see that guard from before who just kind of gestures you in. Come.
Thank you. And Prios be with you, sir. And I scuttle in.
Prios be with you too. All right. And the three of you enter in. He shuts the doors behind. And you guys are currently just in this large opened up room. In the center of it, you see this large varnished table surrounded by about 10 chairs or so. There's a couple of decorative rugs, some nice artwork hanging along the walls. And you see a couple of staircases that kind of go up to a large landing up top. And the guard just kind of walks around the table, pulling out chairs for each of you to sit down in. Please.
Thank you.
You each take a seat.
I appreciate it.
And at this time, from the top of the stairs, you hear the sound of footsteps. And up top, you see the shorter, kind of portly-looking gentleman wearing this long burgundy, almost like duster type jacket. He's got a large, same bronze type of brooch attached to him. His hair kind of salt and pepper. His face clean shaven. And standing next to him, you see a young woman wearing kind of this burgundy and purple robe, long blonde hair, and he and the two of them begin making their way down the stairs towards you all. Well, welcome to my home. I'm Lasso for Night Pitch. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My guards tell me you have information.
Yes, we have only just entered town. It's been a very eventful first day. And we heard at the gate that there was some issues over at the academy, and when we arrived, we heard and saw that Master Vernam is been murdered, unfortunately. Now, and she still has the notepad out. She did not put it away. Now, I happen to have skills as a coroner. It is one of the many things I've done in life, and so for my initial examination, and she reads off the same list of evidence. But then, in addition to all of that, it looks like he was strangled, and there was some form of a ritual. But we also found a letter, and she puts away her notes and gingerly pulls out the letter that is like completely stained and gross, but you know, we did a ton of work on it. And she's gonna open it up. She's getting it shakily, playing up the old, like hand it over, and be like, now, this letter was initially completely drenched in blood, but luckily, I have some experience in reviving ink, and so we were able to get the original message to come up, and it is addressed to you, and I believe you should read it.
Much appreciated. He takes the letter from you and sits down across from all of you. And one thing you notice too is the young woman, she is just standing right beside him the entire time. Kinlegelana and Kovaan, if you would both please give me cunning checks, if you would.
On on the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I'm like, I want to know too.
I got a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay.
3 out of 13.
Perfect. Beautiful. So looking at this young woman and the way she's dressed and kind of looking at some of the items that's kind of hanging off her belt, the two of you would immediately recognize her as a magic user. And what stands out about her is she's not dressed like a member of the Ordo Magica. She's more so giving off kind of the same appearance and body language as other individuals you've seen, like within your own coven. This individual looks like a witch to you. And Night Pitch sitting there reading the letter, just kind of folds it up, puts it on the table.
Should we reread it for the audience? Because it's got a lot of fucking information.
We can absolutely reread it for the audience if you would all like.
So yes, it says, Dear Master Night Pitch, I know that we seldom see eye to eye, but let me once again try to explain why I believe that Gorak's failed expedition is connected to the current killings performed by the so-called Flayer. I know that Gorak sought you out and that the skull of the king was shown to you. Numerous sources have told me as much, and I realize that a possible link between the murders and the skull is politically delicate. The king's skull infects all who touch it, infects with the power of corruption. You appear to have escaped its destructive powers. Maybe you never held it, which, if so, was wise. My elven friends have told me that their soothsayers dreamed of the dead king at the time when Gorak was parading around the town with his cranium, and they have returned to me saying that they are still dreaming, meaning that the corrupting powers of the skull are still active here in Thistlehold. Precisely how the atrocities and the killings are connected to all this, I cannot claim to know, but from a reliable source, I have heard that the art of flaying is an ancient and baneful one, born of darkness. Nevermore the dark, Master Vernam. And I also, Agithe has 100% copied down that note, word for word, in her notes.
Perfect. And Night Pitch just kind of sits there for a moment and leans back in his chair. Yes, I'm aware of Gorak's expedition and the skull that he was able to recover from the woods. And from what you've described to me about the state in which you found Master Vernam, unfortunately, it matches very well with the other victims we found around the hold.
May I ask a question, sir?
Of course.
Were there any similarities at all between the victims?
I personally haven't read all the reports, but I can point you in the direction of my captain and my guard who've been investigating these murders. From what I've gathered, there are some similarities. Again, I don't know the exact details, but we've deemed this murderer the Flayer. Now, as
Looking
far
at the
as...
lady, does she have like any distinct items or anything that would catch my eye or Kin's eye?
Looking at the witch standing beside him?
Yeah.
Give me a vigilance check, if you would.
No.
Okay. I mean, she might have something within her various pouches and bags, but from what you can immediately see, no.
Can I make I just want to do a vibe check on her. Like, does she seem nice? Does she seem chill? Does she seem pissed to be there? Can I read her position? Based on where she's standing, how she's interacting with other people. Can I tell her station, here, whether she's an insider, outsider, any of that stuff?
Give me a cunning check, if you would.
Cool. Yeah, girl, vibe check. Vibe check. Brianna, get into it. Oh, damn. Nope. That's a 19.
Okay. Yeah, looking at this individual, I mean, it's hard to tell. She's kind of just got a straight blank face on this entire time, and just her eyes are just kind of glancing around, looking at each of you.
Come on, poker face.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Yes.
One of the times that her gaze swivels onto me, I'm going to make direct eye contact with her, and I'm going to give her a small smile. I'm sorry. I don't think we've been introduced.
Oh, apologies. My name is Yagaba.
A beautiful name. My name is Keen.
Good to meet you, Keen.
And are you also involved with the investigations, my dear?
Not directly, no. Master Night Pitch has his own guard working on that. I'm more so help our mayor in identifying objects that come through. My talents more so lie in the mystic powers.
Ah, what a gift.
I'm gonna look at her and have you come across anything worthy of keeping?
Aside from the skull that passed through here, not much, no. But I mean, that skull was so hard to pull away from Gorak, the one that brought it back.
Did you touch it?
No.
Has anyone touched it that hasn't been accounted for in some mysterious death?
I mean, Night Pitch kind of looks towards Yagaba, and I mean, as far as I'm aware, no, but I mean, if we touched everything that came out of that forest, none of us would be sitting here today.
Naturally.
I mean, you seem to know quite a bit. Have you experienced corruption from artifacts yourself?
I believe I'm a bit more scholarly in my pursuits, and I'm hoping to help out. And I pull out the brown hairs that I collected from the scene of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, we found these at the scene of the crime, and we have reason to believe that they may be linked to whoever killed Master Vernam.
Interesting. Well, again, I would suggest you talk to my guard, but I can at least try to shed some light from my own knowledge. So it wasn't long ago when the explorer Gorak returned from the woods of Davokar. He came to me saying he had knowledge of some secret location holding some kind of artifacts within the woods. And he was able to gather up a small crew to go in with him. One of them, kind of looking at the hairs, was a brown-haired individual named Alahara. I mean, Alahara, he was one of those types of people, you couldn't separate him from Gorak. It was constantly trailing, no matter what. But they went into the woods, and they were gone for a solid 2 months, maybe longer, before finally returning. A few didn't make it. Something about coming across some kind of arch troll or some kind of abomination out there before they could reach their target destination, which, if I recall correctly, was some kind of Symbaroum king, some kind of tomb. They came back with quite a bit of treasure, and the most intriguing thing being this skull. Allegedly, the skull of the dead king. From what I saw, it was humanoid with this copper crown that over time looks like it had almost fused directly with the bones of the skull. Gorak was so damn proud of that thing, he would walk around taking it to the various taverns of Thistlehold and parading it around, showing it off to anybody who would look, telling tales of how he had recovered it from the woods. It's a bit interesting, though, because about a week or so after their return, there were reports of some of the individuals involved in the expedition succumbing to corruption, becoming abominations, monstrosities, with a lust for blood. They took out quite a few of my guard. I mean, it was 1 versus 3 versus 4 versus 5. It took upwards of, I think, 6 or 8 or so before they were finally able to dispatch this abomination. At the same time, once these abominations started arising, there were rumors, nothing concrete, nothing that we've been able to solidify, but of elves beginning to make their appearances known within the city as well. My guess would be to recover what was taken from the woods. But it's been a few weeks since then, and no sign of Gorak or Alahara. My guess
Very
is
interesting.
My guess is they've either left the town or are hiding somewhere within the hold.
Interesting. Do you mind giving maybe some descriptions, just in case, let's say we ran into them anywhere?
Yeah, Gorak, Ambrian man, dark brown hair, younger. Definitely walks around with a overconfidence, if you will. And Alahara is going to be a bit more tricky to track down, as I believe he was a shapeshifter of some kind.
Interesting.
So, to be honest, they could be disguised as anybody, anything.
Tricky indeed.
And I would be very interested in talking to the guard member you mentioned.
Yes. Yagaba, would you be so kind as to fetch me some parchment and a quill? And she just kind of nods and steps off for a moment. And a couple moments go by, and she returns and hands over the items. And Night Pitch begins just scribbling down what appears to be just a quick little letter that essentially is a notice from the mayor saying, if this group of individuals asks for information regarding the Flayer, assist in any way that you can. And he kind of pulls out this little wax kit and puts his seal on it and slides it over to you, Aggie. Yes, I would suggest talking to my guard captain. We even have our own corpse examiner within the guard, who she could probably give you more information about the bodies than anybody.
Wonderful. I would be very grateful to cross-reference another practitioner's notes.
I'm going to look at the mayor, and I'm going to ask him, Gorak, he must have vices. Do you know of any? A man of his ego cannot stay hidden for long. He has wants, and he will want them. And he seems also the type to be boastful.
Yes, there was one tavern in particular. He was known to get drunk and boast about his tales. The salons of Symbaroum. You might be able to find more information.
Thank you for the information. I think it will be handy.
Thank you for your assistance in all this. Now, if there's nothing else, I'm afraid I've got other matters I must tend to.
Of course. We thank you for your time. She gives a nice little bow and says, I trust you. We will do our absolute best to get to the bottom of this.
And I'm going to give a little smile to the witch in the room. And perhaps if you're ever looking for a type of female companionship, I would long to make a new friend as well.
Give me a persuasion.
You are always welcome for tea.
Oh no, girl, I don't think T is the type of female companionship she's talking about.
Did you say persuasive?
Persuasive.
Okay, 10 out of 11. Real
Okay.
close.
You see her just kind of shoot the most awkward, toothy smile back in your direction. And then just kind of bows her head a little bit. Her eyes slightly widen. And then she just heads back up the staircase. And Night Pitch steps up from his chair, looking back towards the guard, and I believe you'll see them back out, yes. Just gives him a
Says,
nod.
stop flirting with my employees.
And Night Pitch heads up the staircase following Yagaba. And they both appear to disappear down a hallway to the right-hand side at the top of the landing there. The guard, who's just been standing back by the front doors, opens the door back to the outside and is just waiting for all of you.
I'm gonna whisper to Kin. That was a good attempt, but I think the odds are not in your favor today.
I suppose not. This town doesn't really put much in our favor, does it?
Most don't.
But you seem to have more luck, Aggie.
Oh, well. Luck or more work?
Both. Both is good.
Yes, I mean, at least we have a lead. We have a new place to go to and a place to people to follow, and it does seem like the mayor trusts us at this point, so that's good. It's always nice have something off our back there, especially given our first impressions.
Very well. Shall we rejoin Laerke and Nrobso?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. The three of you exit, and as soon as the third one of you bringing up the rear steps out that front door, the guard immediately shuts the door behind. And at this point, he's trailing the three of you, making sure you're all fully just walking in a straight line down the pathway, back out through the front gate.
Okay. I'm so sorry. If he's so obviously like trailing us to make sure that we just leave, then before we leave the place, Aggie is going to turn back and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to ask, but we have been quite busy today, and it has already been a very long travel day, and once you reach an age, certain needs to be do you happen to have a restroom of sorts?"
Give me a persuasion roll if you would.
That is a 9 out of 10.
I've eyeballed you for a moment and just.
I mean, this is also your chance as a DM to decide, have restrooms been invented yet?
I'll say yes, in this world there are. Yeah, I would say that there's running water in this world. Whether or not that's
if
true
the
and actually
Greeks
in the
figured
game,
it out.
it may or may not actually be in Symbaroum, but I'm gonna say yes, there is running water and basic plumbing in this world.
Love
And
it.
so he just
Love
kind
it.
of this way, please. He turns back around, opening up the front door back into the mansion.
Great. And
your friends,
yeah.
please. I need you all to stick together. If you'd please follow me back in here.
Cool. Aggie does not need to go to the bathroom. Aggie is taking note of the fact that they are trying to rush us out. And so Aggie wants to keep her eyes, ears, and vibe checks absolutely peeled during this walk to the bathroom.
All right. So you enter back into that large open room, and he's leading you down a hallway to the left, and you go past one door, and then you go to the second door on the right-hand side. Just please be quick.
I mean, since she's in there, she'll use the fucking bathroom. But I mean, you know, it's always good to be proactive when you get to an age.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the way to the bathroom and back is the importante bit.
For sure. Go ahead and give me a vigilance check if you would.
Great. LOL, no way we can make it a cunning check. It's okay, it's a 4, it doesn't matter. Either one works.
Yeah, so on your way, kind of really all your senses open and trying to listen and see for anything that sounds out of the ordinary. You do hear footsteps coming from above. You don't really hear any type of conversations going on. As you're walking down the hallway to the restroom, kind of coming from around the corner at the end, you see a couple more guard walking in your direction. Doesn't seem out of the ordinary. It looks like they might just be doing a quick perimeter walk through this area, which with how uptight they've been, you would assume is fairly normal.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, they're just very uptight. Very uptight, not necessarily hiding anything, just incredibly uptight. Okay, great. She does her business. We're going to say there's faucets and she washes her hands.
Perfect, yep. So you clean up Kinlegelana and Kovaan. Would you have also gone with the guard as he had instructed?
Yeah. But again, not very quickly.
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like as witches, we're a little bit more cautious about doing anything that might get us potentially witch hammered in the face.
Fair enough. So as all this is going on, Laerke and Nrobso, is there anything particular you two are doing out at the wagon? At this point, it's probably been a good 15 or 20 minutes since you saw your companions, Laerke, since you left them on the front porch.
I think Laerke's just kind of been sitting at the back of the wagon. I imagine it's pretty common, even before like we met up with the others, her and Agithe, that Agithe would be away from the wagons for long periods of time. So I think she's just gonna like flop back onto her back and call over to Nrobso. Are they coming yet?
Nrobso does see anyone approaching. Lurk, remind Nrobso, why do we watch the wagon?
It's got all our stuff in it.
Perhaps there should be a more portable transport for said items. We should really consider a bag for Agithe. Her potions and such are in here, yes?
Yeah, it would have to be a pretty big bag.
We can only have some. We do not need all of items.
Listen, you know, I've been telling her we need to downsize for years. Do you think that you can get her to ditch the wagon? By all means. I'm perfectly happy with packing it all up, whatever we can fit on the moose, and just going, you know?
Ooh, Nrobso likes this
Right?
idea.
It's a
Give
good
Tsum
idea.
Tsum more items in bags.
But
We should tell Agithe.
This is just that's a losing battle, my friend.
Y'all would know that the back of the wagon has like a fucking workbench with like shelving that is like, you know, opens and like locks and secures. It's like a camper van on the inside, only for an alchemist.
Yeah.
Perhaps a more portable transport for this workbench should be installed.
I'm just saying, man. If you think you have, an argument that I have not used already on that woman, please go for it.
Nrobso is sometimes scared of Agithe. Though old and tiny, she is yet strong and wise.
Yeah, sometimes too wise for her own good.
All right. So about this time, Laerke, you and Nrobso both see the remainder of your party making their way back towards the two of you. As the five of you regroup, any actions, any conversations from you all?
I imagine we'd want to move the cart a little bit away from the gate before we do any sort of discussions.
Uh-oh, looks like we lost Agithe. One moment.
Well, we didn't try to, did we, Kovaan? It was an accident.
I did nothing.
We really didn't.
All right, so as you all regroup here, sorry, it looks like Agithe just popped out, so we will use this time to jump to our break while we work on these tech issues. So everybody stick around, and we do have a giveaway through Mithril Armory. If you use code word MURDER, MURDER, use it one time down in the chat, and you will automatically be entered in to win those 1020s from Mithril. And we will see you all back here 10-15 minutes or so. So stick around. Thanks all. right, hello and welcome back. Agithe has returned from the void. So,
The
in just a
void, also known as Los Angeles in the summertime with the 70s apartment.
totally fair. So in just a moment here, we will get our winner for the giveaway of the 1020s as our almighty tech guy pulls that from the void as well. All right. Ew, and we have a winner, one of my local players actually, Amanda O'Brien. So congrats, Amanda. I'll message you and get your information so we can get those sent over to you. So congratulations there. Woohoo! All right. Diving back into Thistlehold. The five of you reunited back at the wagon. What would we like to do?
Well, how are you guys doing? We have some leads.
Didn't do anything, so you got more information than we do.
Very well. So we could
Aggie's-
potentially... Yes, Aggie? Oh, you're back. I thought we lost you somewhere.
I'm sorry. Just slow
It
old
was
legs.
a big bathroom.
Yeah, got lost. But Aggie sees that look of annoyance on Laerke's face that she's seen many times, and just says, "Look, I'm sorry. You saw me ask if they could keep an eye, and I'm. We need to start paying people, don't we?
Or get rid of the baggage.
Aggie just laughs. We've been over this many times. Other people have storefronts. I have a traveling shop cart.
I know. I'm sorry.
It is okay. This is just cheaper because what? I'm going to go and I'm going to have to rent an apothecary studio with the equipment that I need, and it's going to be more cost effective just for me to carry around my own. And she just trails the fuck off.
Might there be a compromise somewhere in there?
I'm not the stubborn
I
one.
suppose not. Never mind. Well, anyway, Kovaan, how are you doing?
I think we have several leads, like you said. It's just a choice of which one we want to pick first.
Delightful. So would you guys rather spend time in a tavern? And I look a little bit at Nrobso, not gonna lie. Or would you like to go and talk to a member of the guard and the corpse examiner for Master Night Pitch?
Is this to say we have a job?
Indeed.
And how much does this job pay?
Aggie, did you talk about that at all?
No. Again, I thought that you had discussed it.
You guys were in there for that long and you didn't discuss payment?
Regrettably.
You guys forgot the most important goal of this group, which is to receive payment. We do not offer services for free.
Aggie's just going to nod and be like, "Yeah, yes, you are correct. There is no. I'm so sorry. I was just so focused on the work."
Well, now it's just going to sound like blackmail. Like, we get the information, we get all of the evidence that we need, come back and be like, what, we're not going to give it to you unless you pay us? That's not going to make very many friends.
We don't
I'm
have
just
to
gonna
give
look at
them
Aggie.
all the info.
sigh.
All right, let's think about this in terms of what we can do right now. What are the leads that you guys found?
Well, before we discuss that, there's one thing I want to make very, very clear to Nrobso. And I'm going to try and be as quiet to him as possible. Make sure no one knows that you have that ring, because elves from Davokar might be looking for it. That might be why they killed him. Okay? No one can know.
Nrobso may be better at selling this ring rather than holding for this ring.
Nrobso, just play the long game, long game. I once heard... Yes, have you ever heard the minstrel tale of the young hedgehog who got into the blueberry nettles and then was very fast and discovered a bunch of rings? Have you heard of that one, Nrobso?
I have not heard.
What?
What became of this hedgehog?
So this blueberry spattered hedgehog, his name was Sonikus, and he kept the rings to himself, Nrobso. He kept the rings to himself. So keep the rings to yourself, and then at the end, we can profit on that. Right now, keep it to yourself.
Nrobso will collect all the rings.
Yes. And keep them to yourself. Secret, yes.
As long as Leggies promises Nrobso payment.
You will get payment by selling them later, but I will work harder to get you an equitable share of money for our endeavors, my dear Nrobso.
Make that a promise.
Absolutely, I promise you, Nrobso.
And if you ever get hit, be sure to pick them up.
Absolutely. That is part of the ancient tale of Soniko. My people love that minstrel tale, you know? You laugh, Aggie, but it's a very serious story with a very great moral lesson. And friendship is a major theme in it, for that matter, so...
Nrobso has no time for friendship. Nrobso needs to pay back his bet before Nrobso returns to Davokar.
Okay. Aggie, is there any way that we can figure out the whole payment situation with potentially your charming wit and, how shall I say, panache, elderly panache?
Yes, Agithe is going to have to work extra hard at the end of all of this to make sure that we get paid.
Yeah, Ag just yes. I mean, if you want, before we get going, I can always just hobble my way back in and be like, oh, one more thing. I'm so forgetful. It's a good thing I have my notepad. We can play something out.
I don't know if that's going to have quite the impact that you're thinking it might at this point.
I was just so focused. We were so focused on the task at hand that we forgot to discuss.
Nrobso thinks we should head to the tavern, and once we collect the information, we'll just send a raven.
Gather some collateral.
Along with an invoice?
Yes. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Very well. So I believe we are heading to the salons of Symbaroum, right? That was the tavern name.
Yes.
That's the one.
Did you hear something in the sky? Is it going to rain? Lord.
You really have to stop making the gods cry so much, Kin.
The gods are dead. Wait. And then she looks around. Prios is very alive.
Alright, so I guess Laerke will go to the front of the wagon and start turning the moose around.
All right.
Aggie is 100% in the passenger seat, like rubbing Laerke on the back as like a thank you for taking care of the wagon.
All right. So you all pile into your wagon here, making your way over towards the salons of Symbaroum, which Kinlegelana, with your previous check on knowing the area of Thistlehold, you know that it is in the northern side of the city, in an area known as the Toad Square. So you all make your way over in that direction. Takes you, again, another 15-20 minutes to make your way over to that area. And as you enter in, you see this large open circular area, and in the center of it is this monstrous carcass of what looks to be like this blight-stricken toad, just sitting in the center of the square. And one thing that you notice immediately too about the statue is kind of wrapped around its neck, tied by this ribbon, is a large bronze bell. And then looking around, you see just various buildings, but the one that sticks out to you is this 3-story building. It's got quite a few individuals going in and out of it, which you would know as the salons of Symbaroum.
Well, when they said salons plural, I thought it was just a colloquialism, but no. It looks to be like one of those multi-story like salons. Oh, actually, real quick question, I guess. Salon in this game, same thing as a tavern? Like salon, saloon?
No,
salon, because
this place is still known as a tavern. It just has salons in the name.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's a multi-story bar.
From what you can tell, yes.
Cool. Yeah, she's commenting on how it's a multi-story bar.
So it would seem. Well, shall we go in or shall we scout out the area? Nrobso, would you like me to get you something?
Nrobso goes in. You're not allowed by yourself anymore.
Aggie is going to look around for a nearby guard or somebody who looks tough.
Okay, give me a vigilance check if you would.
God damn it, that's a nat 20.
All right. Looking about, you see various Ambrians, some of them a bit more built than others. You do see a few goblins even wandering through this area. But aside from that, you don't see any hold guards anywhere in this area.
Do the beefy dudes look trustworthy?
Give me a cunning check if you would.
God damn it. That is a 16 out of 15.
I mean,
I think Laerke.
they look as trustworthy as any stranger on the street.
This. I can see that Agathi's looking around, probably for someone to watch the cart, and Laerke will just be like, "Just go inside."
Aggie's just gonna be like, no, I'm not going to make you do it again.
This is the life that I've chosen.
Do I recognize any of the can I tell the difference between the goblins that are like the servant type and the ones that are more rebellious?
Yeah, definitely. And looking at these goblins in particular, the way that they're dressed, and you see various kind of tools hanging off their belts, it looks like they might be part of the maintenance crew for Thistlehold. As you know, this entire hold was essentially built by goblins and is continued to be maintained by them. So it looks like that they're actually heading towards the salon. They could be on break. They could be going there to fix something. But from what you can tell, they are workers.
Yeah, I want to start a conversation with them.
Okay. You're just walking right up to these guys?
Leggies, watch
Yes?
Nrobso. And he
Do
struts
what?
up.
Oh God. Oh. And I'm gonna like start following, but like try and stay just a little bit farther back.
Hello.
Hello.
We seem to want to look for information. Whom do you work for, Goblin?
The mayor pays us pretty damn good to keep this place running.
And do you like this said mayor?
I mean, he pays on time. That's all that matters.
Oh, does he pay? Leggies, you heard that one? This mayor actually pays. What would it take to maybe share a drink or two with you?
I mean, are you interested in working with us? Like joining the construction crew?
No, I sort of already have a job right now. And I just wanting to look for a place to relax and hang with perhaps someone of my own kind.
Well, I'm sorry, we're a bit busy right now, going in to do some repairs, but maybe later we can meet back up for beverages.
Oh, why come back later? Relax. Hang out with Nrobso now.
Give me a persuasion roll if you would, Nrobso.
That is a nat 1.
All right. The one that you're speaking to, he kind of turns back towards his friends, and they all just kind of shrug. Lead the way.
Leggies, would you like to join my new friends and I?
No.
Why?
You
so
said
abrupt?
you said your own kind. Not your kind.
No, she is not my kind. She is simply my information keeper.
What kind of information?
Nrobso suffers from not remembering things all the time. And on this momentous occasion of hanging out with you two, I will like to cherish this information and this knowledge at all times.
He once again turns back towards his other friends. They all shrug again, looking back at you. Good enough for Cranko. Let's go.
Very well. And like I kind of slip my hand behind me, like grabby hand for Kovaan.
I reach out. Nrobso is a lot more social adept than we thought.
Oh, I
Shall we
always
go?
thought. I always knew of Nrobso's prowess.
All right.
Lead the way.
Nrobso leading the way with 3 new goblin acquaintances. Kovaan and Kane also heading in. Agithe, are you also heading in?
No, Agithe is going to keep Laerke company at the cart.
Okay.
And yeah, she's going to just like pat Laerke on the knee and watch the crowd go in and be like, you know what? It doesn't really look like my type of audience, anyways. And now that nobody else is there, I'll look at Laerke and be like, let's get you taken care of, shall we?
I've still got a couple more days in me, boss.
Okay. How is our supply doing?
I think we've got enough for a couple more doses in the future, but I should be good for at least another 4 days.
Okay. Well, I'll do some work anyways in the back, and if you need anything, you know where to find me. We'll see if we have the ingredients, and if it's not pressing, then we'll see where it falls on the priority list.
Yeah, I imagine we can stop by some markets before we leave if you feel like we really need to stock up on anything.
Lovely. And yep, she sits down at her workbench and just starts unpacking it.
All right, perfect. So, heading inside into the first floor of the salons of Symbaroum, you walk in, and it's just this large open area. You see various tables off to the right-hand side, just a long wooden bar in the middle of it. Off to the left-hand side in the corner, you see a staircase heading upwards. And then over on the left-hand wall, you also see what appears to be like a large stage set up. You enter in, and this place, it's not super packed, but it's starting to slowly get busy. You see various Ambrians begin to trickle in. Most of them look like they're getting done with work. A couple of them, their hands are blackened. It looks like they might have been a couple smiths that just came in here. You see some various construction workers. And behind the bar, you just see one very large, probably about 6'3" Ambrian male standing there in just basic clothing, just rushing back and forth, pouring as many mugs of ale as he can and just passing them out as fast as he can. What would we like to do?
Take out, you said we had a dollar? I take out one, and I toss it to one of the goblins.
On the house, I'm assuming this could get us a lot, huh?
This is good money. This will get us many rounds.
Fly free. Grab the lot, if you will.
You see him just take off over towards the bar, slamming down the piece of thaler onto the countertop. Just lots of ale for us over there. And the Ambrian just kind of looks at it and just looks in your direction, seeing now just all these goblins and 2 witches standing in this bar.
There are no witches here. That's a mistake.
Mm-hmm. One Ambrian and a very curiously dressed individual.
He's going through a phase.
I'm in between seasons.
So he just pulls out 3 just full pitchers of ale and brings it over to your table with just a bunch of empty mugs and just, enjoy. And turns around and walks off, heading back over behind the counter.
You see, we are travelers, and maybe perhaps some tour guides once over in the Davokar forest. Not too deep, just right on the edges, and it pays good money for us. My name's Nrobso. What can I call you?
Cranko.
Ah, Cranko. Such a strong and, may I say, wise name.
You may.
Such a strong and wise name. You see,
Very
my
knowledgeable,
friends and I,
Nrobso.
we are here to celebrate the momentous occasion. For the town we just came from, we have caught a well-known murderer. So we came here to celebrate.
What town did you come from?
Ladies,
Yes. Yes, Nrobso?
my mind has done that thing where I forget the town.
Oh, well, we've come from a bit of a far way. We have recently been traveling through the Titan Pass, so unfortunately, I don't know that you'd really recognize the name. It's a little bit far.
Do you think Kranko is dumb?
No, absolutely not. I believe that Krenko is a very smart person and therefore more interested in details that are much more relevant to Krenko, if that makes any sense. For instance, Krenko, what sort of information do you need?
Kranko needs no information. Kranko knows everything Kranko needs to know.
Exactly. An astute characterization of yourself, which I too can see.
Kranko likes this one. And what about, who are you? Gesturing towards you, Kovaan.
I am her friend. We all need friends.
Do we all need friends? Looking back towards his other two construction companions, and they both just kind of shrug. Friends are good.
Does
You
your
are now Nrobso's friends. And I nod.
So, Nrobso,
yes?
what are you doing here then? Besides celebrating? How long are you in town for?
We are in town for as long as we need to be in town, Krenko. There is no time to determine until our destination needs us to depart. We are simply here for the next job.
So you are looking for work.
Well, it seems we've heard rumors of a perhaps more deadly murder that takes place here. Do you know any idea of these rumors?
Give me a persuasion roll if you would.
Three of 5.
All right. Franco stops and thinks for a moment. I've just heard many bodies found here in the square. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well, what of the people that fashion theirselves here? Do you know of everyone that comes in and out of this tavern?
Lots of people. I mean, just watch the door. You'll see people come and go constantly.
Oh, Krenko, you misunderstood. I am simply beckoning to your more wisdom side. I'm sure Krenko knows certain names of people that gather in this tavern. Who's this guy?
I just point to some random guy.
That's, we call him Ambria number 4.
Ah, what a stupid number. What about this person?
That's Ambria number 7.
Even worse than the first one.
Krenko has no time to learn everybody's name.
Well, perhaps there are maybe one or two more important people Krenko may know that visits the tavern.
Krenko knows one. Part of the guard. She drinks here constantly. Bit loud.
Perhaps we should meet this person. Nrobso often likes loud and rowdy people.
Yeah, you might not like her. She's, oh. I'm not good with numbers, but she looks older for an Ambrian. Bit cranky.
Ah, yes. I've been around someone a bit older, and at times can be a little bit cranky as well. Maybe a drink is a way to this one's heart.
Maybe. Elantra. That's her name.
Are they here now?
And Kranko kind of steps and stands in the middle of the table and just looks around the room. Does a full 360. No. Hops back down.
Would you happen to know the time this person may come in? Nrobso likes a good challenge.
No clue. Kranko doesn't keep track of everybody.
As, of course, Kranko should feel no obligation to do so. However, might I be bold enough to ask why you specifically know more about this Elantra?
She's the loudest.
Does she get drunk?
Constantly, it seems.
Oh. Hates her job. Poor thing.
Don't we all? Look, Kranko
Nrobso thought Kranko was happy with said job.
Job is job, it pays. Now, Kranko really should be getting back to work. But Kranko appreciates the free ale.
Kranko, take one out. Live a little.
Kranko just grabs the pitcher and just starts chugging from it. Gets about halfway down before he starts coughing it back up and spitting some back up into the pitcher. Much appreciated. Kranko and his companions stand up and begin to exit.
Well, ladies, looks like we have a name at least.
Indeed. Your talents quite surpass all expectation, Nrobso.
Only with Nrobso's own kind.
Well, I think in time you'll learn that you're underselling yourself. And then, there's regret in her eyes the exact second she says underselling, because she really hopes that he doesn't start talking about it. Shall we check in on how Aggie and Laerke are? Did we lose Aggie again? Kovaan.
She's back. She's back with Laerke. Would you care to peek upstairs? I'm interested in this.
What do you think, Nrobso?
Maybe our little friend we're looking for.
That sounds like a good idea, Kovaan.
Indeed. Oh, and Nrobso. Also, forgot to mention this. If you see any gentlemen with dark brown hair that look suspicious, please let me know.
Nrobso takes a look around.
Give me a vigilance check if you would.
6 to 12.
Looking about, you don't see anybody with brown hair in here.
I will keep you noted.
Thank you. Shall we, Kovaan? Nrobso?
I nod, and then I follow.
All right. Making your way up to the second floor on this area. Back down at the cart, Laerke and Agithe, anything in particular you two are up to at this time?
Aggie is totally going to can I make an enterprise check to literally set up shop right there and sell some shit?
Gonna try to start making some money. All right, go for it.
Sweet. That is an 11 out of 15 cunning. So that is a success.
Perfect. Yeah. So
the success renders a profit of 10 plus 1d10 Thaler. I'm making us money, friends. This. Woo! I made 18 Thaler today.
that is a good profit right there. Because in this game, the Thaler is essentially the equivalent of gold. So
yeah,
that is pretty damn good. But your supplies are now a bit lower with selling off all that.
Fine, we're about to go into the woods, right?
Maybe. If you want to, you can roll your moose on out there.
Not by my damn lonesome. Not with just me and Laerke. I ain't putting us in there. But yeah. Snaggy, while she's just working away, she's gonna shout, "How are you doing up there?"
Doing all right. And Laerke's still just kind of like looking, keeping an eye out for anything that could be not. I don't think she's really worried about anything dangerous. Just kind of like what happened earlier when the girl ran in, just looking for action, essentially.
For sure. Give me a vigilance check if you would.
A 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Okay. So looking around, first few moments go by, you don't see much, but then walking out of one of the alleyways to the west, you see an individual, probably seeing about 6'6", very, very built, very bulky looking, wearing this dark black and gray leather chest piece and a large cloak that is completely pitch black. You see him flanked by two other individuals who you recognize from earlier as the black cloaks you had first encountered when you had entered Thistlehold. You see them kind of walk out, and they stop for a moment, admiring the large toad statue, just kind of pointing up towards the bell, and they appear to be having some kind of conversation amongst themselves that you can't quite pick up on. They just take a moment to look around before ducking down into another alleyway.
They didn't have the girl with them?
From what you could see, no. It was just the three of them.
I don't think I would. I think, yeah, Laerke doesn't say anything to Agithe. She just lets her keep working and just keeps an eye out on the alleyways.
Okay.
In that case, Aggie's gonna go ahead and toss Laerke a shilling and be like, hey, if you want, you can go, feel free to go inside and get yourself a drink.
I'll think on that. She's really
As
suspicious.
she goes ahead and coats her dagger with poison.
Super suspicious. Probably just gonna stick around and watch the alleys now that I know they're kind of lurking around in there.
Okay, perfect. No worries.
You still have that shilling.
Yeah, got the feeling.
Back inside, up on the second floor, as you all make your way upstairs. This is another large open area. This time, you see a few different tables set up in this area, and you see a couple of Ambrians dressed a little bit nicer, kind of wearing some vests and like bow ties. And you see them at these tables, and you see a few other individuals standing on the opposite side rolling dice. This appears to be like a gambling floor.
So when we get up there, is there like any tables that are louder than others?
From what you can tell, each table only has about 4 or 5 people at them currently. Neither table's being obnoxiously loud. I mean, they're definitely clapping and cheering when something good happens. You hear a couple, moans and groans out of them too, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
May I make a check to see if I notice any of Master Night Pitch's colors, like the burgundy, that moon shape on the crest?
Yeah, give me a vigilance check if you would.
All right, so that's a 9 out of 7.
Looking about, you don't see anybody with those types of insignias or colors. I will say, though, one thing that you do notice is along the so as you kind of make your way up the staircase, looking towards that back left corner, once again you see a third staircase going upwards, but this one appears to have it appears to be roped off, and there appears to be an individual standing in front of it.
So I'm going to look at Kin, and I don't think we're invited to the next floor. That seems to be for special people.
I find that to be an accurate statement. Though, should we consider talking to this person?
It does make me more curious.
And are you on the same page, Nrobso?
Nrobso will stay vigilant and walk with you.
Oh, of course, yes. Very well. I'd like to go up to the person at the roped off third floor landing.
Okay. You walk
well
up to
met.
them.
What's your name, sir?
It's not even acknowledging you.
Interesting. Can you hear me, sir?
He just nods.
My name is Keen. What is your name, sir?
Do you have your voucher?
I'm not totally sure what that has to do with your name.
No voucher, no entrance.
That wasn't the question.
I believe our business here is concluded.
Very well.
I tug on Kin's clothing to kind of hint for us to leave.
All right. So I will step away.
Okay. It's just standing there.
Nrobso, are you good at gambling at all?
Nrobso is not really keen to this game, but it seems we only need a voucher.
Do you think you could get us one? Or 3?
Maybe I could look for amongst the crowd.
Yes. Perhaps.
Do I see like if anyone looks more well off than the others, like potentially have a voucher in their pockets or something?
Go ahead and just give me a vigilant check if you would.
Oh, 17 out of 12.
Looking about, you don't immediately see anybody that looks like that, no.
Leggies, do you think there is someone that fits the profile to have a voucher?
Okay, so let's see. Probably a young to middle-aged man of privilege, perhaps. I'm gonna try and see if I can see anyone who looks like they have a voucher.
Okay, give me a vigilance check.
Ooh, 2 out of 7.
Okay. So as you look towards one of the tables that's closer to the first staircase that you came up, you do see a young Ambrian woman. Looking at her dress, it appears to be made out of finer silks. But as you're kind of scanning her body, you don't see anything right away that would resemble a voucher. But she looks like she's got some money.
Nrobso, do you see that one? Young lady.
In the silk dress, yes.
Yes, perhaps. She is something.
But ladies, where would she keep it? There's no pockets on this dress.
A true crime against humanity, yes, but we don't know where she might keep such a thing. It couldn't hurt to just check. See if she's willing to gamble anything. Of course, I'm not really well versed in gambling, you know.
Nrobso doesn't have much to gamble. I have 9 shillings and $1. Unless you want this finger to the... And I straight up pulled it out, this finger.
Nope. And I just kind of go like this. What do you think, Kovaan? Do you think we should attempt to gamble for the voucher?
He makes a point about the lady with no pockets.
Well, yes, but women are very, very clever. When they don't have pockets, they find other means. I don't know why, but I almost feel like I can hear Aggie's voice in my head saying something about the chest. Really confusing.
Nrobso does not know of ways to pickpocket from the chest area without being obvious.
I didn't mean pickpocket. I just
can
meant
try.
You know, here. Let me just go speak with her. That might be easier.
So no pickpocketing. Okay.
Well met. Hello. What's your name?
Sorry, just one moment. You see her kind of take some dice and roll them, and as they flip over, you're kind of yes, and she scoops up about $5 off the table. Hello.
Hi. Well met. What's your name?
I'm Lillian. And
Lillian, that is a beautiful name. My name is Keen, and I'm sort of new in town, you know, just seeing some of the sights. And I couldn't help but notice this delightful looking game that you're playing. And also, I love your dress. The color is gorgeous on you.
I know, that's why I picked it out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so how is this game played? If you don't mind me asking.
It's simple. You roll the dice. Whoever has the higher dice roll takes the money.
Oh, delightful. Do you come here often?
Do you interrogate every stranger you meet?
It is a bit of an unfortunate habit of mine, but I assure you that I make up for it with my other qualities.
I can imagine.
It's a lovely night, though, and I'm just trying to make a friend or two, you know? And honestly, I'm very confused about the layout of the place. There's somebody guarding that stairwell who won't really explain to me what's going on with that situation, you know?
Oh, yes, you really must be new. I mean, the third floor is, well, I can't really say much about what goes on up there.
Oh, understood. Say, after you're done with your game, would you like to go with me and my friend to maybe be treated to a drink downstairs?
Well, I appreciate the offer. I think I'll pass, thank you.
Oh, well, let me know.
Will do. And she just turns back to the table.
I will rejoin my party. So she's-
Kovaan, this is taking too long.
Some things are not completed within a quick time frame, Nrobso. Let Keen
Ladies?
do her magic.
How did it go?
It went... Well, it went in quite a neutral direction, as every other member of this town. No one seems to be too friendly. I don't know if it's just a bunch of childhood trauma or they're all jaded for some other reason.
Maybe a more unorthodox method.
When you say that, may I ask what you mean?
It's simply a game.
More descriptive, please. Like, lay out very specifically the terms of the game.
It's better if I show. And I walk over with like the mug in my hand, and I pour the mug in this lady's shoe.
Okay. So you walk over with your mug of ale, dumping it right into her shoe. She just kind of looks down, seeing you, lets out this just piercing shriek. And Nrobso, I need you to make a defense check for me.
I want to look at Keen and go, I don't think this is the plan I had in mind.
I don't think this is a plan. I don't know.
I got 18.
18, what's your defense score?
15.
Okay. So as you dump the ale down into her shoe, she shrieks out, stepping back for a moment, seeing you, and just straight up football kicks you, tries to punt you across the room. So go ahead and roll your armor for me.
That's the D4?
Correct, the D4.
I got 1.
1. All right, so you only take 2 points of damage as her foot just hits you square in the chest and knocks you back. And she just kind of looks at you, looking down at her wet foot, and just slams the dice back on the table and just storms back down the staircase.
And then,
Leggies.
And I kind of smile at Keen and go, son of a bitch. He did get her downstairs.
Remind me to remember that later when I'm still feeling this way. And like, I kind of just start moving towards the stairs. And like, I give Nrobso a look, but it's not too scolding because he did it. He did it. And I'm gonna run down the stairs and like I'm gonna pull out whatever type of cloth that I have available. I'm about to be the sympathetic girl that when you're at a bar you find in the bathroom who is just ready to help you out.
All right, so you run down the stairs, catching up to her, and you do see her heading for like a little doorway, kind of on the back right side of the bar. And you step in, and it is a small bathroom area. And she's like just grabbing rags and trying to dry off her own foot.
Oh no. Oh, here, let me help you. Here, let me help.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry that was, oh no. People, they drink and they just get so klutzy.
Mm. Something tells me that wasn't an accident, but
Didn't you see that? That was clearly a 4-year-old. I don't think that they quite have the motor skills necessary to not make that an accident.
I don't know whose brilliant idea it was to let children into this place, but
Haven't you seen the management here? I mean, as long as somebody pays them under the table, I'm sure they let it happen.
it's a fair point, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I should apologize for the way I behaved earlier. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm sure you've heard of the victims recently,
Oh,
the murders.
yes.
It's just difficult to trust anybody, especially ones I
I
don't recognize.
I completely understand. Yes, I did hear about that. Actually, I'm currently investigating some of that, so hopefully the town can be safe before you know it.
Well, best of luck to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'm so sorry. So, like I said, my name is Keen. I'm sorry we got on the wrong foot. I also know that I can come off a little bit. Well, I'm not very good at making friends. I'm much more better at maintaining the friendships that I already have. But yeah, do you have any fun hobbies?
Just gambling and drinking. I mean, that's
Gambling and drinking.
more of a burden at times, but it passes time.
Absolutely. Yeah, is that something that also happens on the floor? The third one?
Oh, I've never been up there myself, but I've heard plenty of rumors of what goes on up there. No one really knows for sure, well, except for the ones that actually go.
Really? How does one even get attendance onto that floor?
You need a lot of coin.
Hmm. Yes. And you can even take your little goblin children up, I'm sure.
I don't think it's a place for children up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's starting to sound like it's not even a place for adults up there.
Oh, I mean, who knows? There's, like I said, lots of speculation.
Yes. And I'm sorry, where do you live around here? Like what district?
Look, I understand we're acquaintances now, but I don't feel comfortable just telling people where I live.
Oh, absolutely. I just, in case I was in the area, I'd love to call on you sometime, but I understand. If you're ever trying to find me, me and my party members while we're investigating, we have a cart at the moment with a moose named Zoom Zoom.
I'm sorry, a moose.
Yes, very sturdy.
I'll remember to look for the moose. Thank you.
Yes. So if you ever need help, maybe, feel free to come see us.
Will do.
Very nice.
You can stop drying my foot now. I think it's dry enough, thanks. And she slips her shoe back on. And I think that's enough excitement for the night.
I agree. Well, I suppose. And can I try and see, since I've been cleaning her sock for a while, can I see if I even notice that she does have a place for a voucher somewhere on her?
Sure.
Ooh. And the dice just went on the floor, and it looks like it's a 2 out of what? What is my check?
For this one, we will call it. Let's call this one a vigilance check.
Okay, 2 out of 7.
Okay. Looking about, kind of checking our dress out. You don't see any types of pockets or anything on it. I will say, as you're kind of cleaning her shoes, you do notice that she appears to have some coins slipped into a little slit in the bottom of it,
Okay.
but you don't see anything that resembles a voucher.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Well, it was very nice to meet you, Lillian, and hopefully I see you again sometime soon.
Maybe. Just kind of smiles and walks out.
So I'm going to rejoin my party. Okay, I think we need to break into the 3rd floor with the other 2.
Like, you didn't find the voucher?
No voucher. She only had coin.
Then I grab my chest and I look at Kovaan.
Kovaan, is this how Nrobso dies?
Not today.
We have break in upstairs.
Other things to tend to.
Also, Nrobso, you are 4 years old if anyone asks.
But Nrobso's only 17.
If anyone asks.
It's not very common for humans to consider the age of a goblin, but if anyone asks, I will be 4. A mere child compared to my age now.
Absolutely. I love this for you.
So
Shall we
where
go?
do we begin to look for a way in?
The outside, I'm assuming maybe we could scale the building.
And I look at Nrobso. You have done it before.
I do think this is the sort of thing we should definitely talk to our party members about before we do it.
Agree.
Just
So
grab my
for-
chest and I follow.
All right. So as you all exit out of the salon, turning back towards the wagon, you see Agithe. Basically, looks like she's closing up her shop. You see a few individuals walking away, each of them carrying various bottles and components that you recognize came from Agithe's cart.
Oh, welcome. How'd it go?
Nrobso played hide the boot.
Our little friend did find another name.
Yes, Elantra.
Thank you.
Yeah,
She'd be loud.
Definitely made the faces at behind the boot of the. I don't know how to respond to this.
So
A lead on the murderer?
we're trying to get something. We've learned of a mysterious 3rd floor, which you need a great amount of coin to actually get into. And there's some wild and interesting rumors about the upstairs, though. The person I spoke with was not too indulgent with answers. So we
Sounds
could
Information.
break into the 3rd floor.
But we don't know what's up there.
We don't.
Do we know if it's heavily guarded?
Likely.
Looking at the outside of the building, is it possible for Nrobso to scale or no?
He can certainly try. It
Nah, I'm
looks
just
like
looking
there's
for general
areas.
info.
It looks like there's areas where he could get some footholds and some grip on parts of the building. But what you will notice, looking at it, only the 1st and 2nd stories have windows.
Okay, never mind then.
We also may need a voucher should we try the regular way.
But it's nearly impossible to ascertain a voucher, so We would basically have to... Wait, do you think we could get one from Master Night Pitch? We could also talk to him about potentially a reimbursement plan for our troubles and that sort of thing. Aggie?
Yes, in my previous work, I usually work on a per diem expense basis.
Let me get this straight. Nrobso is confused. You walk in there, don't accept a legit job or a contract, and walk out with nothing. No notes, no piece of paper, no leeway or anything. No formal, we have the
Well,
authority to ask for any information should we need.
we actually... Okay, so backtracking, we do have a sealed letter from Master Night Pitch, which will give
yeah.
us an audience with a member of the guard and potentially the corpse inspector. And me and Kovaan potentially have a tea date.
So there's no need to read.
Okay, well, I guess we start with... Well, what were the other leads that you got from Night Pitch? Just the salon?
Well, it was the salon, and then we can speak to the captain of the guard and the corpse investigator. And we do have a stamped envelope admitting us.
This is has been an issue that has been going on for some time now, so we are able to speak with those who have done the previous investigations.
Perhaps there is something on the roof we can gain access. Maybe, after all of being here for so long, an entrance or a latch or a chimney even up there.
It's true. Should we have a vote?
What will this be on? Are we all going to be going up? Because I don't know if you would be interested in me attempting the same agility that Nrobso does.
Oh, come now, Agithe. A simply harness to Laerke's back will easily get you up there.
And it wouldn't be the first time.
This is true. We have done something of the sort before, but you know, it just... She gets real quiet and like she gets like super quiet and like directly to Lark. She's like, it's a dignity thing.
Well, we could also just have Nrobso and Keen go on a recon mission as opposed to busting in there.
I don't know how dexterous I would be.
I can give a rope.
And I grab one of the ropes off of Agithe's cart.
Okay, well, we have another option that would take me a little more time. We could figure out what type of people are invited up there, maybe scout it out, and I could turn into one of them.
Oh, Nrobso thinks of turning you into said guard. Maybe relieve him of his shift. Convince him his time is up.
Nrobso. What an interesting idea that is.
Aggie's just going to that. I think you might be onto something. However, instead of, we'll need to find one of his co-workers. Because if you just walk up and it looks like he's looking in a mirror, I don't think that's going to have the same effect.
He has to relieve himself and go to the bathroom sometime.
Shall I play hide the boot again?
I feel like
Dude
we should
comes
make
back
sure.
from the bathroom and he's all like, wait, I'm not at work because I'm already there.
Perhaps we should make sure whatever we decide to do is a true consensus. Laerke, how do you feel about everything? I haven't heard as much from you. Do you think it's a bad idea to do this now, or do you want to try it?
We're here. It looks like you guys have a plan. I'm not sure exactly. Is the plan to knock out the guard, take his face, and then have him let the rest of us upstairs?
I prefer to call it honoring his image.
Certainly, we'll consider that while me and Nrobso are beating him silly in the restroom.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to give you admittance to the 4th floor, or 3rd floor, it's a floor, it's a thing, perhaps you shouldn't look quite as much like yourselves either. Can you cloak up? Can you wear could you wear a different mask?
I'll have to dig through the wagon.
Aggie, can you make counterfeit vouchers to make it look mildly like an exchange is happening?
Aggie's gonna be like, oh, well, considering I don't entirely know what these vouchers look like, I don't really know how I can create a convincing replica. If you manage to if I can get my hands on one of them, I can do my best to make more.
Certainly, he'll have some on him.
Does this make me look less like a goblin?
Yes.
Do you have, Aggie, in your cart, do you have one of those hats with the ear flaps?
Oh my god. Let me check. Aggie goes into her little closet where she has just like tons of like black cloaks, all of this like drapey clothing, and she's like, and yeah, she pulls out just a really long, thick, capey thing, and is like, I think this is the best that I've got. And I go over to Nrobso and like put it around him, put it over his head, like tuck it all in, try and make it convincing, like do the whole like that thing and be like,
Now listen, Nrobso.
Yes.
The best way to sell it. Think about it this way. You are a pretty, pretty princess. Take that confidence with you in this new identity.
Nrobso's no princess.
Shh. Yes, right now you are. You've got it. You cannot be Nrobso. You need to sell it. Okay? Put it on. And I feel like I've been talking much. So Kovaan, Laerke, Aggie, anyone?
I'm gonna look at you and go, I've never had dress fine enough for most places. I'm not sure any disguise I make will convince the clientele. I will do my best.
It's real hard, aren't you?
Aggie's just going to real quick. Do we remember how will we be protected for knocking out somebody who's just doing his job?
There might be protection if we were amongst the people who had a job to do.
I don't
Aggie's
think
just-
that letter covers that part.
Yeah, Aggie's just going to kind of tap her foot and be like, yeah, the way I have gotten to this age has primarily been by staying out of trouble, I must say. Part of me does wonder if we can't go follow our other lead and then get some more resources when we report back.
The Nrobsos think this is a good plan now. We are here, the time is now.
It might be beneficial to speak to the captain of the guard and the corpse examiner.
And it's possible that the captain of the guard may be able to provide us with more leverage to investigate in places where we might not be able to get into on our own. Make our services, offer our services to the captain, and perhaps get a little push.
Very well. Then I say that we stick with that plan, with the understanding that we now know the name Elantra, and we know something very suspicious is happening on the 3rd floor. Can we settle it there, at this location for now? Oh, and we can't forget about Krenko. If we ever see Krenko again, if we forget him, I think he's going to actually gouge our eyes out.
Oh, yes.
I do want
I wasn't
to know
there.
if...
Never mind. Who's Krenko?
Yeah, there we go. Did you guys share Krenko with us?
Krenko Nrobso. Tell us about Krenko.
Krenko is Nrobso's new best friend. We share drinks, and he works for Mayor Nightfitch.
DM, when we kind of looked at the building, do we see any windows on the 3rd floor?
Not on the 3rd floor, no.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should go talk to the captain first.
Then
But
Nrobso takes out his knife and begins to just rip this dress off of him.
You dressed me up as a princess for nothing.
Nrobso.
Now,
Aggie.
You don't do that, because we can still come back and do this. You are a pretty princess.
now. He's just slashing it off.
Aggie is so pissed that you wrecked her shit. Like, Aggie is just standing there livid, but completely silent, giving you that really mom look. Like, eyes just boring into you.
Nrobso will find you a new one.
And he's so ashamed after his behavior.
Remember, Nrobso, we always can honor someone else's image. There's going to be so many opportunities. You need to remain with your alias of the pretty princess. What is your princess name, Nrobso?
Nrobso.
But
That's a
More.
good one.
more.
Nrobso.
How about Nrobsa?
Nrobso is Nrobso.
Nrobsafina?
By any other name, a rose is still a rose. I am Nrobso.
Very well.
I vote that we go talk to the captain before the sun goes down.
Mhm.
Yes, and
Agree.
it has been a very long first day. I wonder if the mayor can give us some nighttime accommodations for our assistance.
Okay, so heading to see the guard or heading back to Mayor Night Pitch's home? Where are we going?
To the guard first.
To the guard first? Okay, perfect. So you would all know that it's very close by to where Night Pitch lives anyway, so it doesn't take you long to make your way in that direction. And as I said before, you see this large fenced-off area with multiple tents kind of lined out, and then towards the back of the encampment is one very large tent that stands out compared to the others. You approach, it's kind of just this large wooden archway leading into this area. And there are a couple guards just flanking this gateway. And as you approach, they don't seem to like perk up or have their hands on weapons. They're just kind of just hold.
I'll pause the movement.
Hello. I pull out the letter with the seal. We've been sent here from the mayor's house. We
May I?
of course. We are told that this is a letter for the captain, but you can see the seal on it is official.
Yeah, it all looks fine. He hands it back. You can park your moose off to the right here, and Captain Marvello's in the tent just down the way.
Wonderful. And this is within the barriers of their ship.
Correct. Yeah, just right
Fuck
within
yeah.
the fence line off to the right. You can
Fuck
just
yeah.
looking at this
It's
guard's
just a
demeanor.
responsibility, and we don't even need to
Yeah,
ask.
this guard is just doesn't really
Wait.
give two shits about what's going on right now.
Did we catch the guard's name that we're talking to?
He has not given a name. No,
Delightful.
just mentioned Captain Marvello.
Thank you very much. And yep, I go
just
ahead and just give a little
Don't
pat on
don't cause
Rick's.
trouble.
Oh, we're attempting to solve trouble. Don't worry.
I'll get Tsum all settled up on the side of the gate.
All right.
Yeah,
You parallel
I will-
park Tsum between the gate and the tent.
I will
Tie up the
feed
whole
Tsum.
wagon, all the flaps and everything. Get it all secure.
You see a couple guards kind of exiting the tent, kind of staring up at this giant moose that has just entered into their camp. Hi, can we pet it?
Tsum is very, very friendly, and I go ahead and I pull out a couple of baby carrots, and I give them to the guards, and I'm like, these are her favorite treat.
Oh my God, so cute. Sorry, we don't get to see many creatures like this coming through the town. This is truly amazing. And they just have this look of wonderment on their faces as they approach and just gingerly holding out the carrots and just kind of stroking the moose's snout and just enjoying their time with the moose.
I'm happy to know that she's in very good hands. It's definitely a he because of the antlers, but she calls it a she.
Fair enough. The rest of you,
It's a transgender moose.
it's all right. It's Symbaroum. It can be whatever you want.
It's a trans moose. The moose has told me that the moose is gender.
All right. So are we all heading up towards the main tent, or is there anything else anybody is doing at this time?
Other than feeling intense regret that I did not get to steal that man's face, nothing.
You mean honor his memory?
Honor his image, yes. That is all I ever intend to do.
All right, Image. He's still alive, technically.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
I'd say we're all probably heading up to the tent together.
All right. So as you all approach this tent, the front flap is pulled back open. And as you approach, you can hear bickering going on between what sounds like a male and an older woman, just yelling back and forth about, look, I've done everything I can with these victims. We'll catch the flare when we catch them, okay? Look, Mayor Nightpitch needs this done today, all right? Not tomorrow. We can't afford to have more and more victims of the flare. Look, it's oh boy, it's fine. We'll work it out. And as you enter in, you see this older woman who has a bottle of something in her hand, and she is just stumbling about the place, just kind of leaning hard up on the table. And you see a younger Ambrian man, dark brown hair, wearing nicer leathers compared to the rest of the guard outside, but they each have that same bronze brooch with the moon symbol on it. Just try to pull yourself together. It looks like we have visitors. Hello. Please excuse Elantra.
Tag on Leggy's cloak.
Leggies. Brown
Yes.
hair. Brown hair.
Thank you.
May I help you all?
Yes, we are looking for the guard captain and the town or the guard coroner.
Oh, well, Captain Marvello, at your service.
Wonderful.
Again, I'll have to ask you to excuse the behavior of our wonderful examiner, gesturing over toward the drunk woman, who is, this point is, you can tell she is struggling to stay on her feet. And as you're standing here in this area, you are just hit with the scent of just stale breath and alcohol emanating from this woman. Sorry. Ever since the investigation started, it seems to have taken its toll on Elantra here. I can assure you, when she's fully about her wits, she's quite good at what she does.
I can understand. I've only seen one crime scene. I can imagine seeing multiple would be a mental strain. So, do you know if she has any coherent notes, however, that I can cross-reference? I take out my notepad, and I'm like, I seem to have a similar skill set.
Look, nobody needs to see my notes, okay? All you need to know is the victims were skinned. The skins were found next to the bodies. That's all there is to it.
Did you also, she checks her notes. Did you also notice the two missing fingers on both of the victim's hands? Was that a common thing? Did that repeat?
Everybody had hands and fingers.
All of their fingers?
Pretty sure.
Kinlegelana would just like to give Aggie a look really quick, like, talk to me later.
And in my examination of Master Vernam, I also found that his adrenal, thyroid, and pineal glands were also missing. Was that something that was also found in other victims?
Again, all you need to know, they were skinned and the skins were found next to the bodies. That's all I saw.
I'm gonna look at the captain and be like, again, if there's a way for us to access any relevant notes, we would like to be able to get as clear a photo, or their photographs don't exist, as clear a picture of these crime scenes as we can, to compare the likenesses and differences.
Give me a persuasion roll if you would.
That's a nat one.
Nat 1, perfect. Captain Marvelo kind of looks towards Elantra and just give him your damn journal. It's not that hard. And she just kind of reaches over for a small bookcase that's sitting on the back of the tent. She just grabs this old leather-bound journal and just slams it on the table. Here you go. It's all my findings. And then Captain Marvelo also kind of goes over to the same bookcase and pulls out just like a small file folder and also puts it down. So these are obviously Elantra's notes here, and these are statements I've taken from the witnesses, from the people who found the victims. The
First thing Agithe is going to do is she's going to lightly flip through the examiner's notebook, and this is so specific. In this notebook, does her handwriting change as the case goes on?
Give me a vigilance check if you would.
Ooh,
actually, you know what? No, we'll make this cunning, actually, because you're trying to look for like a discrepancies. We'll call it cunning.
Cool. That is a 6 out of 15.
Okay. So looking through these notes, you'll notice that once the notes start being written about this case specifically in this investigation, there is it looks like there's two separate handwritings from flipping through the earlier pages of this journal. It's all notes on just basic anatomy of the human body and various corpses, various bodies that have been found long before this investigation would have started. Then once you start getting to the first victim of the flare, it's a totally different handwriting.
I'm going to look at the guard captain and be like, did she start acting like this after the first victim?
I mean, she's always had a bit of a drinking problem, but I mean, I guess she started hitting the bottle a bit harder, I'd say around the third or fourth victim. I think in total there have been 5 or 6 at this point.
She just goes and looks at and looks at the notes. Yeah, how detailed are they? Are they more detailed than what she said, or?
Give me. Actually, no. As you're kind of taking your time with this, the first thing that you'll notice is the first 2 victims were butchered in an alleyway by the Toad Square. In flipping through this, it looks like there's a connection between the first 2 victims and the other 4. Just digging through the notes themselves and how these bodies were butchered. Go ahead though and give me, if you would, another cunning check.
Nice. That is a 6 out of 15.
Okay, perfect. So we had a success there. And as you're looking through this book and trying to make these connections, I will let you know what you figure out in the next session. So, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for today's game of Symbaroum. Once again, my name is Nathan Ridenour, your game master for this journey. And in a moment, we'll go back around the room and let the players
that's so rude.
Give their shout outs and plug yourselves. Once again, thank you to our fantastic sponsors, Session Zero, Roaming Player Gear, Norse Foundry, Mithril Armory, and thank you again to Free League for providing us with your wonderful creation and all the assets to use. So real quick, back around the room, Coral, I'd like to introduce yourself again, plug yourself, all that fun jazz.
Hi, my name is Coral Reaper, and I'm currently hanging on a cliff. You can find me over at twitch.tv/queerventuretime, where we're gonna be there later today after I probably take a nap and make myself some dinner, because we're fucking obsessed with Skyrim. But we're hanging out there chatting all the time, chatting about gender, sex, sexuality, kink, politics, all of those things that, you know, people don't like to talk about, but we're gonna talk about them because we need to. Hey!
All right. Keith.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming by for episode 2. Most of the time you find me on IG. I am not Kevin Bacon. You can find me here usually lurking the TIO streams or showing up in 1 or 2. Next Sunday, our Evermore Tales show is at episode 3, so please come on by.
Excellent. Moving right along, Christine, please.
Hey everybody, I'm Christine. You can find me here on Twitch as Slimberjane and on Instagram as well. I'm not really up to too much other than this and just playing video games on Twitch, so hopefully you drop by. But thanks a lot for coming in for episode 2 of our campaign today.
Perfect. Leroy.
Hey everyone, my name is Lee Royal. I can be found on all social media as Royalty No Y. And yeah, currently right now it's the same as everyone else. If I'm on Twitch, I'm streaming Assassin's Creed Valhalla, trying to burn through that game. And when I'm not, I'm usually working on some cosplay stuff. I just finished a 3D printing and I'm looking to do more. So follow me on Instagram to see all those types of updates.
Perfect. And Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. On socials, especially on Instagram, I am Tombs and Tomes. And basically, I just share a lot of literature and tabletop role-playing games.
Perfect. All right. Thank you all once again so much for joining us. Tomorrow, we continue on with our Vault stream here on the Initiative Order, being run by the fantastic April Hill, aka Stiletto Assassin. So check that out. And then, as Keith mentioned, we are back to Evermore next Sunday, 2 p.m. here on the Initiative Order. And we'll be jumping back into Symbaroum on the 15th, the following Sunday. So stick around for it, guys. Thank you all so much for your support, and we will see you all in the next adventure.